Yo, what's up everyone, my name is Maddock, and welcome back to another What If video. And today, once again, we are actually doing another What If Smash Brothers Ultimate video. And whether this is going to be in Halloween or after Halloween, because I actually decided to do another character for this certain video that is also related to Halloween. And also, once again, it's based on FNAF. Because if you remember the very last episode, I did Jacko Chica as a Smash Ultimate character. This time, I wanted to do another FNAF character, also based on FNAF 4, the original FNAF 4 this time. I decided to pick the one and only animatronic that I love most dear ever since Five Nights at Freddy's 4 ever existed. Nightmare, the embodiment of death. Nightmare Fredbear's dark half. The leader of the Nightmare animatronics. What some people say that he is the true chimera animatronic of all in the FNAF franchise. Well, mostly in the fandom anyways. But that doesn't matter. I am now bringing up Nightmare, my favorite animatronic, to this video. So what if Nightmare was in Smash Brothers Ultimate? So, let's begin. Okay, starting off with the A attacks. If you click just A all by itself, then I feel like that Nightmare should do like a hand clap. You know, just basically putting two hands together, just smashing their opponent's face or body. Man, that would be freaking cool. He's got freaking giant hands, you have no idea. It's almost as big as freaking Nightmare Chica's. Actually, no. Jacko Chica's is actually a bit smaller. A little bit. Maybe. Anyways, moving on. If you use A left or right, then he'll do a striking claw strike. A bit more intimidating than Jacko Chica's. If using an A up attack, the same could probably go with, like, I don't know, maybe just another bite attack. But again, more deadlier than Jacko Chica's. A downward attack this time could possibly have Nightmare slam dunking the opponent down to the ground by clutching both of his fists together and smashing him straight down onto the head, down to the ground. With the grabbing attacks, if grabbing then left and right, he will just throw the opponent with absolute brute force, flying off somewhere in the stage. And since that he is an animatronic, he is going to be very heavy. I almost forgot to mention about that. And since that he's probably, I guess, going to be a lot more heavier than Jacko Chica, which is another thing I almost forgot to mention. And since that he is also made out of metal, his strength is going to be unfathomable. If you grab the opponent, then go up, Nightmare will actually shove the freaking opponent inside his mouth, then spin them back out. Similar to Jacko Chica's movesets. If you grab and then push down, then Nightmare will open his stomach and he will freaking stuff the opponent into his stomach, activate spring locks, and then spit them back out from his stomach. Because if you haven't noticed, Nightmare Fredbear and Nightmare do have, like, an interesting looking stomach that almost have, like, a second mouth. And I feel like that should be used. Now moving onwards with the B attacks. With the regular B attack, it'll be Mega Bite, which is a bit of a reference to FNAF World, really. And heck, wouldn't you know it, Nightmare actually uses that mode during in battle when he was Adventurer Nightmare. So I guess you could probably use that, where these giant red teeth come in front of the opponent, and then they just bite them with a massive amount of damage. If using B left or right, Nightmare will teleport. Where any of his opponents will have a shadow that's close to him. If the shadow is close enough, he will put up a devastating slash attack. I call that move Travel by Shadow. Or you could just come to the nearest shadow and actually just bite or even stuff the opponent inside his stomach again, activating the spring locks. which will create a lot of damage. Now for the beat up attack. This one is going to be half attack, half support. So I decided to add a little extra character in there to help Nightmare out with this one, which is actually going to be Nightmarion. That's right, you heard me. Nightmarion is actually going to be somewhere inside of Nightmare. Now, I've heard that a lot of theories that Nightmare Fredbear actually had Nightmarion inside, though since that Nightmarion is actually the one who replaces Nightmare in the FNAF 4 Halloween Edition game, technically that makes a lot more sense when you think about it. So it's probably best to make sense if Nightmarion is actually inside Nightmare instead. It kind of works a lot like, you know, when Lefty had the original marionette inside of him. It just makes more sense that way. So, as I said, with the beat up attack, any opponent that comes above Nightmare, push B up, and then you'll have tentacles from Nightmarion come straight out of Nightmare's body, spiking the opponent like needles threading into fabric. They may look like just tentacles, but man, they are sharp as heck. Now that's the attack part. However, if you're somehow falling off a stage, you can push B up, and then the tentacles from Nightmarion will come out of either Nightmare's body or mouth and try to catch onto the ledge before you actually fall down and lose, allowing Nightmarion to pull Nightmare back on the stage. This has got to be the most crazy move I ever come up with, and yet it is so genius as well. Then, for the B down attack. This works as an attack and support again as well. You know how Nightmare is actually translucent? Yeah, that's his move. He acts like a phantom when he activates his translucent form. He's completely unmaterialized when he does that, and when he does, any attack that actually comes near him will completely miss. Even if the endoskeleton is showing, it really doesn't matter. Whether it's fire, cannonballs, anything that is from a far range distance attack can never affect Nightmare, as long as you're prepared to use that move at the right time. But then, this thing does have other uses as well. You can also catch any of its attacks, like take for a cannonball for example, you could use that. Stop the attack by actually catching it inside of Nightmare's stomach and then spit it back out. This will definitely be worth it on most outrange attacks, especially when it works with metal. And one more thing. Oh yeah, this freaking attack does not stop there. If Nightmare is in translucent mode, and any opponent that actually tries to attack or comes even close to him, or is about to go past him, release B and down, and then he will materialize, trapping the opponent inside Nightmare's body, activating the spring locks inside, creating massive damage. And if you thought the B upwards attack was good, the B down attack is even better with Nightmare. Nightmare's final smash. Now there were a couple of few ideas that I came up with this one, so bear with me here. Tell me which one you think is good down in the comments. When Nightmare has finally obtained the final smash state, and if you press B in front of someone, Nightmarion's tentacles will grab the opponent, depending how many opponents. I feel like you can get up to 7, right? Doesn't matter how many opponents he will grab, but when Nightmarion's tentacles does grab the opponent, he will take him straight inside Nightmare's body, and then Nightmare will transport them into a void of darkness. Then, Nightmarion's needles will strike again, piercing through the opponent's body, one by one, rapidly with no remorse. Then Nightmare will finally become a giant head, having his one final laugh, and then chomping them down with one final bite. Now, here's the second final smash idea that I had in mind. The first part of the Final Smash idea was with Marionette grabbing the opponents with his tentacles inside Nightmare's body, could still work and transport them into the Dark Void again. But this time, Nightmare actually transforms. This was a real big fan idea because this was a fan idea from ETH Goes Boom when he played the game Five Nights at ETH's World, the very first fan-made game for ETH Goes Boom, where Nightmare will transform into having 4 arms, 1 extra eyeball on his forehead, and an extended jaw. This was actually one of my favorite fan-made transformations for Nightmare, and I loved it so much, I felt like this should be used as a Final Smash, to be honest. With this incredible abomination of a transform, Nightmare will slash, scratch, stomp or crush any of the opponents with no remorse. And then finally take the bite with his extra extended jaw. Now we got that out of the way, now let's go into the alternative skins. First off, we have the original Nightmare, where he's black and he has a yellow bow and a yellow hat. The second skin could actually be the reverse colors. Well, not really. The one I'm talking about is that Nightmare could have yellow body instead, and then have the hat black and the bow tie black as well. Which, technically speaking, this is going to be like a reference to the original Golden Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Also, why does that look more terrifying than I thought it would? Then we have this color version that I decided, which once again stays with the yellow state, but they actually this time have a purple hat and a purple bow tie, which is a reference to, well, basically the original Fredbear himself. The reason why I decided not to go with Nightmare Fredbear because it would have worked, but it really doesn't work due to terms of, you know, how different they technically are with their AI mechanics in Five Nights at Freddy's 4. However, this reference could actually be like a reference to Fredbear 2.0, I guess, which is one of the fan-made versions, models of Fredbear in some fan-made Fredbear and Friends Family Diner games. The fourth skin can actually have back to regular Nightmare, but this time he'll have a purple hat and a purple bow tie. This is technically, it's almost kind of like a reference to Shadow Freddy, a little bit. However, with this fifth skin, this will totally have a bit of a reference to Shadow Freddy, because the colors palettes are swapped, just like with the second alt skin. The sixth skin alt would actually have Nightmare completely green or musky green, kind of a reference to Nightmare Freddy Fazbear from Five Nights at Freddy's 3. It would also make sense due to the fact that Nightmare is also kind of translucent. The seventh skin alt is actually Nightmare having a orange hat and an orange bow tie, and also have this luminous orange light circulating or glowing inside his body. This is almost saying like, it's a bit like of a Jacko Nightmare when you think about it. Reason why I didn't put orange all over his body is because that is just way too much, and I really don't think it really suits him. It's absolutely too bright. Then finally, we have the alternative costume, where technically Nightmare is actually going to be now Night Bear. This is like a fixed Nightmare version of Nightmare, though technically speaking it's like the original dark version of the original Fredbear. Oh, and just a little something for extra fun. This little idea came into my mind, having Nightmare have a blue hat and blue bow tie to represent Scott Cawthon. I know what you're thinking, Mad Dog, shouldn't you probably put blue all over him instead? Well, yes, but I kind of felt like that having a blue hat and a blue bow tie, plus, and I forgot, and I will mention this now, having blue light inside Nightmare's body glowing. Kind of looks better that way, to be honest. Once again, it's absolutely too bright on Nightmare's body. It really doesn't work like that. And speaking about the purple Nightmare from earlier, I was actually gonna think about do purple Nightmare, but also add in like the yellow hat and the yellow bow tie, and maybe even include a golden badge to his chest to represent Purple Guy. It's absolutely weird, I know, but who knows? Then after that, we actually have this version where he actually has a red hat, red bow tie, which kind of actually represents my OC, I'm not gonna lie. And then if we add on with, you know, red body and then black hat, black bow tie, that will kind of be the same thing about with my OC as well. However, actually, you actually did use, you know, like red body, but then have parts of his body, you know, black still, and also have either like keep the yellow hat and yellow bow tie, or have a black hat and black bow tie. It will probably look not too bad, to be honest. I think they'll probably look cool. The stage intro can actually have Nightmare crawling onto the stage, rising from the shadows. And then with the outro stages, you can actually have Nightmare inside the FNAF 4 house, and someone's trying to survive the night. Take for like Mario, for example. But Nightmare will be in front of his face, and he will do that irritating jump scare. Then there's the second stage outro, where you have Nightmare rise up from the ground beneath the shadows again, and have Nightmarion's tentacles come out of his body. Then the third stage outro could actually have Nightmare trying to eat one of his opponents. Again, it could be Mario, or could be someone else. Like someone actually failed the night, and then Nightmare is ready to actually eat them whole. And there you have it, guys. This was the third Smash Brothers What If episode, and I swear, like this one, if Nightmare, my favorite animatronic, and if anyone else who actually does love Nightmare, then you've got to see this freaking video. I tell you, it's got to be worth your time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Click the notification bell to never miss a video. And as always, my name is Mad Dog, and peace out.